Okay, almost there. The camera angles seem to be okay. The lighting seems to be okay. What I'm going to do today is continue where I left off from my reading text in 4:4. The book, uh, if you don't have it, is this one. You can purchase it on my website at mattpatellallivelessons.com, and it's under the product page. If you scroll down, there's a key you could enter upon purchasing, and you will receive a 20% discount. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is start out on page 25. And just to give a little bit of a review of what we've been doing, we've been either counting quarter note count, eighth note count, 16th note counting, or eighth note triplet counting. As the pages progress, we need to count the downbeat as what it is. For example, if you look at page 25, the first measure, you have a quarter note. You have 4/16, then you have a 16th note, an eighth note, and a 16th note, and two eighth notes. So it's going to be kind of hard to count, especially when you up to tempo with the metronome. I'm going to demonstrate measure by measure, note by note, measure by measure, uh, downbeat by downbeat. So I'm going to count the downbeat instead of me counting all the way through 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. That's a lot of counting. So, like I said, because we're going to have a mixture of things here, we're going to have eighth notes, eighth note triplets, 16th note triplets, and it's going to be difficult to maintain one system of counting. So we're going to count the downbeat. For example, if I'm playing a quarter, I would count one. If I played the eighth notes, two and. The triplets, three and 16ths, 4E and. Now, in the front of the book, you have the counting systems. And what I would recommend you do, if you're not familiar with this, you should become familiar with it, is Joe Morello's Table of Time. Master Studies 1, there's the table of time there. He goes from quarter notes to quarter note triplets to eighth notes, eighth note triplets to 16ths, the groupings of 5 and the groupings of 6. Because what reading is and what rhythm is all combinations of different downbeats on time. For example, I'll demonstrate first before I start to explain the page, the table of time up to groupings of 6. I'm going to do one measure quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, eight quarter note triplets, 1 and 2, 3. Eighth notes, 1, 2, 3. Eighth note triplets, 1, 2, 3. 16ths, 1E and 2E and 3. I'm going to go to groupings of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 6. And back to the 1. And that's what reading is. It's a combination of all those in different mixtures. Now, if you go to page 25, you see the first line, the first measure. A quarter note, 4/16, 2/16, an eighth, and two eighth notes. So I'm going to count it again as the downbeat. I'm going to go 1, 2E and 3E and 4 and. Now let me break that down. The quarter note is equal to the quarter note, 1. 4/16. I can count 1E and still the same thing. The counting system is different. I go to the second downbeat, which is 4/16. That would be 2E and. Now, you go to 3, and a lot of people get all confused here. It's all mathematics. You have a 16th note, an eighth note, and then a 16th. Now, the 16th equals itself, 3. Now you have the eighth note. That's equal to 2/16. E, and then to finish the measure, the downbeat, da. Again, it's 3, E, and da. And then you have 4 and, 4 and. Measure number 1, complete. I'm going to count the downbeat. 1, 2E and 3E and 4 and. Okay. Now we go to the second measure. 2/8 notes, quarter note, 4/16, and then another combination of the 16th, the 16th note, the 8th note, and the 16th. I'll do it slow. I'll count slow. 1 and 2. 3E and 4E and okay. Again, slower. 1E and 2. 3E and 4E and 1 and 2 back. 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3 and 4 and. Now, I've been playing just with one hand occasionally, no accents, because there is no accents. Each note should sound the same. I'm not giving an expression or anything. We're just learning the mathematical divisions of the reed. So if I did it with the metronome at 60, that would be my quarter note. And if that's too fast, we'll do it a different way. That would be 1, 2, 3. Listen now. 1, 2E and 3E and 4 and 1 and 2. 3E and 4E and 1 and 2 and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3. That completes the first line, and that was at 60. Now, if 60 is a little too fast, you know, I don't like to use the metronome as with the 8th note. For example, if I left it at 60 and went 1 and 2 and, with that method, you're going to run into a little bit of trouble when you get to line 2, because there's an 8th note triplet. Let's go to line 2, the first measure. You have a quarter note, an 8th note triplets, a grouping of 16th notes, and then again, the 16th note, the 8th note, and the 16th. So you have 1, 2, and 3E, and 4E, and all right, let me slow that down. The quarter note, 1. Then you have the 8th note triplet, 2, and then the grouping of 4/16, 3E, and Now I'm playing them in a different tempo just to explain it. Again, 3E, and then I come to 4, 4E, and let me do 4 again. That's going to be 4E, and play the measure complete. Line 2, first measure. 1, 2, and 3E, and 4E, and notice no accents. My sticking heights are all at the same level. Line 2, second measure. And this kind of tricks everybody, and I don't know why. It's just math. You know, you have a quarter note, it equals 4/16. This is broken up into 2/16 and 1/8, and if you add them up fraction-wise, it equals 1/4. So we're going to go to the second measure, and I'm going to do the first downbeat. 1E, and again, slower. 1E, and then 2, the second downbeat repeats itself. 2E, and there's no repeats here. I'm just saying the second downbeat repeats the first downbeat. Then I go to the third downbeat of the second measure. 3E, and a grouping of 4/16. And then we go to 4, the downbeat 4, it's 4E, and it continues on with different mixtures in different places. We go to the third line, which would be 1E, and 2E, and 3, and 4, and. Now, we're going to come across now a 16th note triplet. And some guys get this a little confused. See, I don't count my triplets as one triplet or one triplet and triplet. I feel this triplet by this point in time, if I've been playing for a period of time. I'm going to play a triplet over to the 8th note. 1 and. No accent, I'm sorry. Should be 1 and. Slower. 1 and. Then I go to 2. 1 and. 2E, and 3E, and 4 and. Okay, we go to the third line. First measure, we have a quarter note, 2 8th notes, 8th note triplet. Now, when you tag in 2 16th note triplets, a lot of people get confused about that being a sextuplet. It's not. It's 2 16th note triplets. The sextuplet has a slightly different feel. Okay, let me take the first measure, line 3. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and again, it's one hand. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Now you notice there's the table of time again, like we did in the beginning. You should get that going on. So you make that downbeat equal to the quarter note, to the quarter note triplet, to the eighth notes, to the 16ths, the grouping of 5, the eighth note triplet, and the grouping of 6. Third measure, third line, first measure again. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Second measure, line 3. 1, and 2, and 3E, and 4E, and slower. 1, and 2, and 3E, and 4E, and third measure. 1, and 2, and 3E, and 4E, and fourth measure. 1E, and 2E, and 3, and 4, and. Now, I've had a lot of requests. I'm not going to revise the videos I've made on the 4/4 from the beginning. However, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a couple pages, or I'm going to continue to do the pages in order with the drum set application to have some fun, so you're challenging the reading. See, when you learn how to read, and you're doing like I'm doing right now on one surface, you know, it gets a little boring, and it's a little difficult, and it's not, it's really helping you. I mean, that's what it is. But if I'm going to play something like this, like on a drum set, we're going to have a little fun, and I'm going to come up with, for example, I have the 4/4 reading text, say page 7, and then I'm going to do another couple more on the same page, 7, and I'm going to label it as reading text 4/4, page 7, 1A. And we're going to add to this. We'll have a little fun. And then I'm going to go again to page 7. Instead of saying 1A, now we're on 1B or 1C. You know, all these different variables that we can do to really have a whole lot of fun learning. What I needed to say that so that you understand where we're going to be going. All right, we're going to do now line 4, the first measure. Now you have a grouping, you have a 16th note triplet and an 8th note, which is simple. 1 and. Then it's the reversal. Instead of the triplet falling on 1, now it's going to fall on the and. 1 and. So I'm going to do the first 2 downbeats. 1 and 2 and. Okay. Now I come to 3. We already have that experience. 3E and then the 8th notes. 4 and. Now I'm going to play the 4th line, first measure, 2 hands, no accents. 1 and 2 and 3E and 4 and. My sticking heights are all from the same point. Therefore, theoretically, my right hand and my left hand should sound equal. Line number 4, second measure. 2 8th notes, 1 and. 16th notes, 4. I'm sorry, it was 2 E and. Again, let me do it again. 1 and 2E and. I go to 3, the odd grouping again. 3E and then we go to 4E and. Second measure complete. Here we go. 1 and 2E and 3E and 4E and. Third measure. Now you're starting to get a little experience, and you're also starting to see somewhat of the tables of time. Okay, the third measure. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and. I'm sorry, I can't see. I started wrong. I'm sorry. Third measure. 1E and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, nice and slow. 1E and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Last measure, line 4. 1 and 2E and 3E and 4 and. Okay, last measure again, slower, broken down. Eighth note triplet, 1 and grouping of 16ths 4. So that would be 2 E and then we have the 16th note rest, 2 E and then 4 and that should have been 3 E and. Here we go, last measure, 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and. Okay, line 5, dot. A dotted quarter note. You need to know the rules here. The dotted quarter note, or a dot placed after a note again, increases the value of the note by 1/2 the original value. A quarter note equals 1B, or it equals 2/8 notes. So if I place a dot after the quarter note, it's going to increase it. So therefore it's going to equal more than 2/8 notes. How many? Well, it increases the value by 1/2 the original value. The original value is 2/8 notes. It increases it by 1/2 of that, which will be one more. So a dotted quarter note is going to equal 3/8 notes. So I would have 1, 2, and. Or I'm sorry, 1 and 2, and you have the 2/16. Let me do it again. 1, 2, and 3 E and 4 and. Okay, slower, 2 hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line. Okay, first measure. 1, 2, and 3 E and 4 and. That 16th note triplet. Second measure, 5th line. 1 E and 1 16th note, the rest rather, 2 16th notes, and then another 16th note rest. 1 E and Okay, the downbeat 2, just 2/8 notes, 2 and. Then we have the 8th note triplet on the downbeat of 3, 3 and on the count of 4, we have an 8th note rest and an 8th note, 4 and. Okay. All right, now, the next measure, we have now a dotted 8th note. Okay. The rule remains the same, whether it's a dotted quarter note, a dotted 8th note, dotted 16th note, or whatever. A dot placed after a note increases the value of that note by 1/2 the original value. So, an 8th note equals, or an 8th note rest equals, or same thing, 2 16ths. I place the dot after that, it equals now, it adds one more note, half the original value, which was 2 16ths, one more 16th that would equal 3. So if I'm going to play that, I have to rest for 3 16th count. 1 E and Again, 1 E and Then we go to the second downbeat. Again, we have a 16th note rest, 2 16th notes, and a 16th note rest. So that would be 2 E and 2 E and Okay, then 4 would be the downbeat, 4 E and Then we go to the last measure. We have the 8th note triplet, 1, 2. Now I can count them as 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and Let me do it slower. 1, 2, 3 E and 4 E and Okay, we go to the 6th line. First measure, 2 8th notes. 1, yeah, that's right. 1 and. Then we have, it's dry in here. Excuse me. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and. Broken down, 2 8th notes, 1 and. Now, go to second downbeat, 8th note rest and an 8th note, 2 and. Then here we go with the figure that was new, I believe, in this segment is 3 E and Then we have the 4th downbeat, which is a 16th note rest, 2 16ths and a 16th note rest, 4 E and I'm sorry, yeah, I'm on a wrong line. All right, now we go to the second measure, That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines, second measure, 16th note rest, 1, E, and Then you have 2 16ths in the 8th, 2, E, and then the 2 8th note triplets, 3, and 4, and Now, the third measure, the grouping of 16th note triplets. The first downbeat, you have 1 8th note and a 16th note triplet. 1, and. Then you're going to go to the second downbeat. It's 2 16th note triplets. 2, and. The third downbeat, you have a 16th note rest and 3 16ths. 3, E, and Then on the count of 4, you have an 8th note rest and 2 16ths. 4, E, and Okay, let me play that measure. That would be 1, and 2, and 3, E, and 4, E, and Okay, next measure, 4 16ths, 1 quarter. 1, E, and 2. Go to 3, the third downbeat. Now we have a dotted 8th note equals 3 16ths. To complete it mathematically, you have the list 16ths. That would be 3, E, and Then you have 4, E, and. I'll do the measure again. Last measure. You have 1, E, and 2. 3, E, and 4, E, and. Okay. Line, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Line 7. The dotted 8th note, again. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, and Let's do it again. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, and That was not in tempo. Sorry, guys. 1, E, and 2, E, and. Again. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, and Okay. Second measure, 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and Okay. Third measure, 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and It just becomes now combinations of what you just learned. The last measure, 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and Now, if you see, that is actually part of the table of time. The groupings of 3 and the groupings of 4. So that's why I did recommend in the beginning to hang out with the table of time. Okay, last line, first measure, 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 E and 1 E and 2. 3 and 4. We'll do it again. 1 and 2 E and 3 E, 4 E and 1 and 2 and E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4, 1 E and 2, 3 and 4. Okay, that completes. That's page 25. Okay. If there's any kind of questions on it, contact me, and hopefully if you have Skype or whatever, I could try to help you out as much as possible. And like I said, this is page 25, but there will be a page 25A, 25B, and if I go to C, D, whatever, and they're all going to be fun things to do to challenge this reading, okay, on the drum set. Right now, you're just learning the mathematical division of how things are placed mathematically. Okay, we're not phrasing, we're not doing any expression, no dynamics, no accents, just one level. And if you're not familiar with the levels, I have a couple videos on my channel. You can subscribe to them and check them out. And you know, the full stroke, the downstroke, the tap, and the upstroke. And what the uses are, and if you also would like to subscribe to my 2-week free trial membership at www.mattpatellallivelessons.com, feel free to do that. There's no obligations. Check it out for 2 weeks. If you don't like it, you can always not subscribe. Thank you very much.